This beautiful river, and probably almost this very spot, well, just along, is where the returning POWs, including Weary Dunlop, the famous surgeon, first met Kun Kanit, who happened to see them coming upriver and invited them in for a drink. So much has followed from that. Kun Kanit has built his own museum to the extraordinary experiences of those prisoners of war working on the railway that was to go to Burma here at Hellfire Pass.
They just happened to pass by in a long boat. I feel sorry for them. So I try to take care of them. At the time we were not a resort.
We came up on the Burma side of the railway.
Wasn't there a bit of competition amongst you guys at the time about who was having to do the harder work?
Well, we always reckon that the Thai side had it easier.
I thought it was the other way around.
No, don't you say that. No, it was a very comfortable competition. And Weary Dunlop, of course, his force was on the Thailand side.
Yeah.
And I was with Williams' force. Williams and Anderson force were the first Australians to start work on the railway from the Burma side.
Looking back on that as a life experience, does it horrify you now?
Well, I'm glad I went through it because you learn a lot. I was only 19 when I was captured, so I absorbed quite a lot. They say that
in a hurry, huh?
Yes. And of course you're a bit you only look for the day. You didn't look ahead. Not having family to worry about was helpful too. We bring 16-year-old high school students up here, and that's the objective of the Quiet Line, or the Burma Thailand Railway Memorial Association, to pass on the story to the young people. And we've got 28 on this tour with us.
You're 90 now?
No fear. I'm only a young boy. I'll be 89 in 3 weeks' time.
In addition to Neil McPherson, another 4 former POWs were travelling with the Governor-General's official party to attend the ceremonies and share memories. Her Excellency, Miss Quentin Bryce AC, Governor-General of Australia, arrived at the sundown garden party hosted by Kun Kanit at his home Putoy Riverside Resort.
Thank you.
Visitors for the commemoration were delighted to have the Governor-General present and sharing their time in the midst of war history. The service at Hellfire Pass is a dawn service, and already well in advance of the very first light of the day, a good many people who've come here from Australia, especially to be at Anzac Day here at Hellfire Pass, are arriving in considerable numbers, and shortly, in the extraordinary atmosphere of Hellfire Pass, amidst candlelight, we shall see the service. This service is held at dawn in darkness because it commemorates the arrival on the shores of a beach in Turkey at Gallipoli in World War I of forces that mainly consisted of Australian and New Zealand servicemen. All these years later there have been many other battles during the many years, and this particular service now commemorates the experience of many soldiers from those same countries and others who were obliged to dig an extraordinary railway and create a railway to Burma in World War II.
Good morning.
The fire here was from hell, they said. It needed a different kind of courage. Exiled from the Allied war effort and held captive to advancing its defeat, our soldiers braved a battle fought in the shadows of the hellfires, in the shadows of their captors' torture and menace, in the shadows of their ravaged frames and private anguish.
Lord God, we pledge ourselves to serve you and all humanity in the cause of peace.
And as a wonderful morning dawns here at Hellfire Pass in Kanchanaburi province of Thailand, the Governor-General of Australia, who's been here in attendance along with ambassadors from Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Holland, and the Governor of Kanchanaburi, now leave this very serene gathering to attend a service a little later in the morning at the War Cemetery, which of course is in Kanchanaburi. It was the first time at a dawn service in Hellfire Pass that spontaneous, affectionate applause had accompanied the departing veterans. The enthusiasm is spreading in Australia.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
And were you fairly aware of the story of what happened here in World War II before you came?
Yeah, but coming here has given me a lot more experience of it and a lot more knowledge.
What about your compatriots? Are you all from the same school or same area?
Yeah.
And did you feel you had much knowledge of the history here before you came?
Well, we were educated a lot in school about the POWs and stuff, but sort of coming here brings it more knowledge to
It brings
us.
it all home, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Make it so much more real. Emma, is this your first visit to Hellfire Pass?
Yeah, this is my first one, yeah.
And do you have a family connection?
My grandfather was a POW here, and he unfortunately couldn't come up this year, so it's just me, but all my family's been, so yeah.
What's your grandfather's name?
Wally Holding, yeah.
And he normally comes if he can, does he?
If he can, he'll come up, but he's been a bit sick lately, so.
And of course, all of the POWs are now of a really advanced age, aren't they? It's wonderful
Yeah,
that some are still alive.
It is.
Is he in his 80s?
He's 92 this year.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Emma's great-grandfather on her father's side was a 10th Light Horse Gallipoli veteran in the Anzac landings in 1915.
And her grandfather, as we know, was a prisoner of war here.
Yes.
That's her grandfather on her mother's side.
That's right, yes. And
So it's an extraordinary connection, isn't
yes,
it, to
yeah.
the day and to this specific occasion?
yes. And my father was a prisoner of war here in this actual section of the railway. He didn't work in this cutting here. He was with Dunlop Force, and their work started about 150 metres beyond this cutting, and they went through to the end of the compressor cutting.
We'd just like to say a few words for the diggers who grimmed and bared these hard times and tough conditions and dug through rock to do what they done. We salute.
Anzac Day is indeed a special day for Australians and New Zealanders, wishing to remember, as everyone does, the fallen of terrible wars and conflicts. The service comes to the Kanchanaburi War Cemetery after the earlier dawn service. Here the atmosphere is a little more relaxed, yet equally respectful. And it's important to come here to realise that at the time of the Second World War, especially in this area during the cutting of the Thailand Burma Railway, many other nationalities were involved too. And this cemetery illustrates that fact because so many of the dead here are British all along this side of the cemetery, Dutch in the corner up there, and in front of that on the roadway here, another very large area of fallen Australian prisoners of war. Here at the Kanchanaburi War Cemetery, set up by the joint governments at the end of World War II. The Australian Governor-General was welcomed at the imposing gates to the cemetery, itself a permanent memorial to the lost lives of so many foreigners in Asia, enslaved by the invading Japanese army in the 1940s. The Immaculate Cemetery is a place of reflection for all who pause to read the headstones of those whose lives were so cruelly curtailed. The late morning service here on Anzac Day is also attended by the wider foreign community and representatives of governments in Thailand and abroad.
All that kept them alive was the mutual support they gave each other, their enduring bonds, cities or exodus. They join us to
The visiting Governor-General spoke of the terrible privations of prisoners of war and of the gratitude of survivors, representing the lives of so many mates lost.
It's a memorial. I'm almost crying. It affects me greatly, having services like this and remembrance all our mates who haven't come home. And that's what it is. And all POWs think of their mates who haven't come home with Australia or the British government where they are.
Difficult, isn't it?
I'll never forget this day, and I'm sad about it too. It makes me sad. Yes. Governor-General.
Nice to see you.
Oh, yeah,
I'll see you again.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's been a wonderful thing for me to be here. Cyril, goodbye.
Well, all the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll do my best to get my handicap down to 16.
I thought you'd been taking up the wedding.
I'm
not going to go.
Wonderful travelling.
Have a swing every day. Sad.
Yes,
Been a wonderful occasion.
Yeah, you too.
It is, isn't it?
A day like today isn't easy, but then you got through much worse, didn't you?
Oh yes. Well, it's it's a very, very sad day as far as we're concerned, and I think Anzac Day, of course, is the origin of it and everything. But I think the POWs and what we went through, it means today we should think, of course, of Anzac and Anzac Code and the landing, but we also, more importantly, think of what happened to us and to the mates we left behind.
The real hero of my time, the real hero, is Julia Giller. She came to my home and had an interview with me, and I'd already sought an interview with her, and she said, and it was arranged she would come to my home. First of all, it was an honour that she would come into my home, and secondly, an honour to me. The thing is that I don't know exactly what they're going to do. I made a submission before them, and I saw compassion from that woman and that leader. As far as I'm concerned, whether she gives us what we want or not, she's won me for the rest of my days.
To many people, of course, at a commemoration like this, it's only wreaths and flowers and memories that can say what is in the heart of many people missing family members, great friends and great people of their own countries. The Australians and New Zealanders find Anzac Day particularly significant. And it's thanks to many returned servicemen and their supporters in Western Australia that this commemoration here in Thailand has grown in numbers to such an extent. And I think that one of the wreaths from that state of Australia sums up what we all feel. In memory of all our mates, the 2nd 3rd Machine Gun Battalion Association of Western Australia.
At my age, you're very fortunate if you've got something you can do that is a benefit to people. Most people, when they get old, are very self-centred and they're too busy looking after themselves to worry about the outside world. And this to me has been a godsend in a way. It does give me the opportunity to meet people and to feel as though you're still doing something worthwhile.
More of my videos or to contact me about perhaps participating in your projects, please visit rodmcneil.tv.